Hey, look, it's the internet. Well, I'm gonna show you guys my stock RTR Axial Capra upgrades and tweaks and mods so far. All right, to start off with, my servo died kind of right away. So let's see here, we got the Spectrum S614 steering servo, and I think I heard that some of these were catching fire, but mine obviously didn't. But my wire did die right here, and the rest of the servo is fine. If I hold the wire in an awkward position, it works fine, but clearly that's not going to work, so I upgraded to this high-tech D954SW. It can do 7 volts. I haven't changed out any of my electronics yet, so it can't right now. 7.4 volts, I should say. I will be doing that soon. Maybe if y'all want to see that, let me know in the comments. I plan to be getting one of the Hobby Wing Fusion type, where they put the ESC and the motor in one. So I'm going to try that. Anyway, so that was my first upgrade. Moving on from there, the next thing that I did was I cut star foams from the stock foams. You can see these are not the stock tires, so I had the Nittos on there, obviously, from stock. I just wasn't really pleased with the way they worked. So the first thing I tried was to cut star foams, and it took a long time, but I got it done and I was pleased with the results. It was a drastic difference and still not quite enough. So from there, the next thing I did was clearly upgrade to the ProLine crawlers and got the Predator compound. And then I also got ProLine's dual stage foams in there. And so the first little bit's nice and supple, but then it firms right up, and that really does help for contouring to rocks and obstacles and getting a little bit of extra grip. But then also it doesn't give too much when I'm turning sharply. All right, next thing on the list, I upgraded the Dig Servo, which maybe I can get a shot of, to a Savox. No, not really. Maybe you can see that orange right in there at the left of the drive line. Anyway, it's a Savox SH0255 MG micro servo. It bolts right in, has a lot more torque, a little bit more speed. I can show you guys that in a video if you want to see it. Next thing would be the metal servo horn. So in the front here, of course, the other servo had a plastic servo horn, which seemed to be good enough. I had a few spills and it never broke on me. It was good and strong. It's a 23 tooth and the new servo is a 25 tooth, so I needed a new servo horn. The ones that came with it both broke, so I upgraded to a metal. All right, next, the ride height of the vehicle had always been an issue, and it would topple over too easily. It wouldn't climb very well, it wouldn't descend very well. So I was watching West Desert Wheeler, and Logan suggested taking off the little cups at the bottom of the springs, the spring retainers, and it doesn't change the spring rate. The springs can just ride on the bolt down there. I don't know what you call those ears that the bolt bolts through, but it rests on those two pieces of plastic just nicely, and it's a good solution, I think. Works well for me. I appreciate his suggestion. So got a lot better performance out of having a proper ride height. Okay, so after that, the next thing I did was grind off the bump stops on the axles right here and right here with my Dremel tool. So that way, the next limiting factor was actually the idler arm here. So what I did there was I bent it just slightly. I don't know if I can really get that on camera here or not, but it is slightly bent, just enough to clear the pumpkin. And so now the next most limiting factor is actually the C-hub and the portal box right in there. But it turns out my servo with the current transmitter and receiver, the endpoints are maxed out, so that's as much as I can get right now, so I don't need to do any more grinding or anything. I'm pretty happy with that. But the last little thing I did was just add a little bit more caster on these. Maybe it shows up a little better this way, just to get a little bit more steering angle, and then you accomplish that by just backing out these lower links a little bit. So I did that, and I'm pretty pleased with the way that works. Gets me at least a few inches tighter turning radius, something like 4 or 5. But kind of at the same time as I did all that, I also added overdrive portal gears, and so clearly that helps with the steering radius. I went from the stock, what is it, 1223, so that's what these are, 1223, and I got the SSD overdrive gears that makes this one from 12 to 14 and this one from 23 to 21. That's a 22% increase in speed, and alongside with that I went from a 14-tooth pinion gear at the motor to an 11-tooth pinion, and that's a 22% reduction. So it's roughly about the same wheel speed on the back and roughly a 22% increase wheel speed on the front. I took off the top also somewhere in there, and that's not for weight or anything, it's just because I like the way it looks better. Other than that, it's completely stock, still all the complete electronics, still the stock transmitter, receiver, ESC, and motor are in there. Anyways, hope you guys liked the video, and let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comments section. Have a great day.